Hey, we got our dirt detection event. Okay, so those are the purple lights that it turns on. That is super cool. And it's gonna do like a figure 8 where it detected that dirt. Hello everyone, it's Just a Dad. Today I'm gonna do the first look, show you how to set up for the first time and a detailed review on this brand new Shark PowerDetect ThermaCharged robot vacuum cleaner. So it is retailing for $1,200, but it's on sale for $800 right now. In this video, I'm gonna unbox it. We're gonna put it together. There's a little bit of assembly. We're gonna connect it to our smartphone, map our house, and then we're gonna go through the settings. Then I'll actually clean up the world famous Just a Dad Corner cleaning studio, and we'll clean up a big mess on carpet. Now I do use links, so if you purchase the product using a link that pops up in the video or on my website, justadadapproved.com, that's where you can find all the robot vacuum cleaners that I highly recommend at justadadapproved.com. And once you're there, sign up for my email list. When a robot vacuum cleaner that I highly recommend goes on sale, that's when I send out an email to let everybody know. My job is to get you the best robot vacuum cleaner and any appliance at the best price. I also have vacuum cleaners, cordless vacuum cleaners on my website. So sign up for my email, justadadapproved.com. Okay, so here's everything that comes in the box. You do get this quick start guide. There's a QR code that takes you to a manual or a video to watch. There's 2 side brushes. We're only going to be installing 1. There is an odor neutralizing cartridge, a little bit of Shark vac mop solution. Here's the robot. I am glad to see it's got Lidar navigation. Looks like we got a pretty cool sensor and a light on the front. There's our power button. We don't want to turn it on quite yet. And here's the dock. So I'm going to talk about the docking station and then we'll go over to the robot. So here we have the dock. If you lift this up, here is the clean, you're going to fill this up with clean water to the water line, and then from the water line to there, to the solution, the Shark vacuum. This is the gray water tank, or I like to call it the dirty water tank. The base station is going to wash the mop pad with hot water. It's going to heat the water up, then suck it up into the dirty water tank. We've got a sticker here. I'm going to leave this on for a little bit. There's a light here that's going to tell us different things. Now down here, there is a sticker we got to remove. This is the gray water or the dirty water filter. You are going to have to take this out and clean it once in a while. It's a little tricky. This little tab right here, you got to grab and pull it out. Yeah, this is a filter. It comes installed. I just wanted to show you that real quick. There's going to be a brush that goes back and forth. And again, the base station will heat the water to wash the robot's mop pad. We do have this ramp. We want to make sure to install this ramp. So slide it on there. Make sure that's nice and flush. Odor neutralizing technology. Let's open this up. Now, I love the smell of this, but we're going to install it. You will have to replace this once in a while. What you replace is the green part. There's like a gel in there. It's not sticky or anything, but it smells. Air is going to go across it. When the base station is emptying out the robot, that's when you'll smell this scent. Go up here, find the 2 arrows, line them up, and then you can rotate it. More scent is this way, or this, you want to go that way for more scent. Actually, I'm not quite sure. Oh, there's a plus sign. Rotate it that way. There's maximum scent. Then we can take this sticker off. Now here we have a filter. You are going to have, this is a reusable filter. You are going to have to wash, this is a foam. You got to wash this about once a month. Let it dry in the sun. Down there's another little filter. You're going to grab that. You wash both of these in the sink. They get extremely dirty. But this is a bagless base station. We also have a HEPA filter. Now the HEPA filter here, you're going to pull it out. You have to replace that maybe once every couple years or so. So the robot's going to vacuum your house, come back, and then another vacuum is going to kick on and suck everything out of the robot through here into this port. And all you got to do is push a little button up here. Then you're going to take this. This is where all the dirt and debris go. Press this button and everything falls out into your trash can. Again, it is bagless. You never have to buy a bag, but you will have to clean this once in a while. And same with that filter, about once a month. Around back, no power cord, a little bit of cord, or no switch. The power cord's permanently attached. It's 4 feet long. There's a note on here to make sure that you leave 1 foot clear on either side, and you have to install it on hardwood floors. You can't put the base station on carpet. Now on the bottom, it's got a tag 120 volts, 60 hertz, and it says it uses 650 watts of power. Front to back base station is 17.5 inches or 45 centimeters. Left to right, 14.5 inches or 36.5 centimeters. Now the base station's not super tall, but you have to lift the lid to be able to get the tanks out. So the base station's only about 17 inches tall, but you have to have about 25 inches or 63 centimeters above it clear. The base station, these are alignment pins. This is where it's going to auto empty. This is where it fills the robot's internal water tank up with these two ports. This is where it's going to charge the robot. And this is like a sensor to help it back up. And then it can detach the mop pad and leave it at the base station. Again, it washes it with hot water, and then it also dries it at the end of the job. Okay, over to the robot now. It is 13.25 inches or 34 centimeters. To the top of the Lidar is about 13 centimeters or 4.125 inches tall. Now again, I love that this robot has Lidar navigation. Underneath there's a spinning Lidar. It's going to do a really good job of mapping your house and with obstacle avoidance. Now it's also got the bumper here on the front. If it runs into something, it'll turn it away. But since it has Lidar navigation, it is going to vacuum and mop in nice straight lines. On the front, looks like we have an LED light. There's no camera, but these are sensors to help it avoid obstacles that are low to the ground. We come around the side here. Looks like another, no, not necessarily a sensor there. The wheels do go up and down to help lift it up over carpet. Charging points, right, whoops. There's the mop pad. Charging points, this is where it fills the robot's, has an internal water tank. Now around the side here, this is where it's gonna blow a puff of air. These two sensors here are to let it know when it's up against the wall. So it'll blow air out here to get the dirt and debris to go to the front of the robot so that it can be vacuumed up. And it also moves the mop pad up against the wall. So that's what those are for. Let's go around. There's no physical button. This is like a little touch screen. And they do give you, there was this piece of tape on there, which has a lot, like that's the middle one's the power button. And then you got some lights and some other buttons. So this is like a touch screen that's kind of sensitive. Now around back, I can take the dust bin off. We are going to have to clean this filter once in a while, but then you will have to replace it once in a while. So as the robot vacuums, everything's going to go into this dust bin here. And then at the end of the job, it'll get sucked out through this little trap door. Here is the water tank. You can fill it up manually or empty it, but the base station is going to take care of filling it up with two ports here. That's nice. And again, these are alignment pins. And when it's installed, the base station can also remove the mop pad and leave it at the base station so that when you want to vacuum only, the mop pad doesn't take the mop pad with it. And again, it can also has a special feature where it can move the mop pad right up against the wall. And there's this little wheel here to go up against the wall. So, and it also has sonic vibration. So when it's got the mop pad down, it's also moving the mop pad back and forth. Another thing I want to show you, it also has a dirt detection. So as the robot is vacuuming, there's the brush roller. So it's vacuuming stuff up. There's this little sensor here and here. It must be shooting like a laser across or something, because if it senses that there's a bunch of dirt particles, it's gonna go into a dirt detection mode, and then it does like a figure 8 in the area that it thinks the dirt is in. And there's also these little lights right here that come on. Those lights will turn purple underneath the robot to let you know you've got a dirt detection event. If they're red, that means it's in an air state. If it's orange, that means there's like a maintenance reminder. That's what these are, lights right here on each side. So we do have to install, there's the side brush. It's just a square. You're going to snap it on. We have 2 carpet sensors. These are cliff sensors here. These will need to be cleaned once in a while. There's one here, 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 and then there's 2 on this side, just like the other side. So it doesn't fall down your stairs. You have to wipe those down about every 30 hours. The battery compartment. These are the drive wheels that can lift the robot up and down when it senses that it's on carpet. If the mop pad is installed and it senses carpet, it lifts itself, it lifts the rear end up to stop from dragging it on carpet. Here is the brush roller. Pinch these tabs. There is a comb down there to help with long hair. So yeah, that's going to be kind of cool to see these lights come on. Here's kind of a close-up of these sensors on the side. There's where the puff of air comes out. Never stuck wheels. Got the base station plugged in. Looks like that light's on. So let's fill the clean water tank up with water and solution. I love the Shark Vac Mop solution. So this is what I recommend to put in other robot vacuum cleaners. Eventually you will have to invest in like a brush. This is a $5 brush from Walmart I bought. There'll be a pop-up in the video. It just does a really good job of cleaning that dirty water tank. Looks like you get a sample bottle of this. So we're gonna fill this up to here. You just fill it up with tap water. The base station will heat it. All right, let's see if what they give us is enough. I think it's gonna be. All right, so for each tank, you're gonna need 12 ounces. And this stuff smells really good. All right, let's slide that in. I've got the mop pad and everything installed. Let's go ahead and just dock it. I think that'll turn it on. Yeah, there's the lights. And then we're going to connect it to the smartphone. All right. It's kind of the typical thing I've heard before from Sharks. Now, the manual, this is all they give you, and there's a QR code to go to a video. The video's okay, but if you go to the Shark website and under support, you can actually get the manual's full of information. They're calling this the ThermaCharged, the 2900 series. And that's when I learned about these lights on the bottom. That's so cool. That's brand new. And there's some cleaning things. So it's packed full of information. It's on the Shark website. I wish they would send that with the robot. Okay, you got to get the Shark Clean app. It's a little dated in my opinion, but I've got this. You got to log in with a username and password and create it. So click this. I've got a whole bunch of Sharks. So let's add a robot. Let's prepare, start, plug in, power on. Yep. Confirm charging. Yep. I'm ready to pair. I think it says my robot has a Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's what you want. Tap the Wi-Fi button to enter pairing mode. So
I am ready to connect to Wi-Fi.
Those are buttons. They don't feel like buttons. It's really weird. Okay, now hit that. Robot is in pairing mode. 2.4 gigahertz. I'm using an iPad Air. View permissions. What's going on? So I had to give it permissions. I just hit next and start searching. So that was a little different. So you should get to the searching and the Wi-Fi. I don't know if it's flashing. It's a little hard to see. Hello, it's great to meet you. Some random number. Select the Wi-Fi. Press that. Find your Wi-Fi from the list. It gives signal strength, and then type your password. All right, I hit the password. I entered the password, and then I hit continue. Yeah, those are all 4 buttons. It's really weird. Usually this doesn't take too long. Next, name your robot. Let's call this I'm not sure what to call it. I called it the heat. All right, let's go to the dashboard, we should be ready. So 90% good. You need to build a map. So get started. Heat has a special set of features, never stuck. self-cleaning, maintenance-free, PowerDetect, no-go zones, max mop. Uses swirling and scrubbing pattern to remove. Okay, that's going to be interesting. Prepare. I've opened all the doors. Start an exploratory run. Okay. It should undock itself and start an exploratory run. I'm going to close one door. Oh, maybe I need to. Okay. It says negative. Oh, I thought I did this already. Cancel. Nope. I don't know what I'm doing. Prepare your space. I've opened all the doors. Next. Start. So.
Hello.
I don't know why I didn't do it. I didn't know why I didn't. Do I have to hit it again? I'm not sure. Normally they undock themselves and start doing a mapping run. Huh. I don't know. And for some reason it disconnected. Maybe it's doing an update. Not sure. Sometimes we just need to be patient. I know I get a new toy and I want to start playing with it. Sometimes these things are small computers. The Wi-Fi light's off. That's interesting. Let's try it again. Okay, here we go. Here we go.
Starting an explore mission. For the most accurate map, open all interior doors.
So it removed the mop pad itself. I thought this was going to be kind of identical to their other PowerDetect, but there's some things that are the same, like the shell and things, but there's obviously some new technology that's going on too. I would have loved to have seen a new app, but I'm sure that takes a lot to get a new app. I will be comparing it to the older PowerDetect. This is, this was the older one. I think it's called the 2700 series or something, but I will be comparing it. It's got a lot of features, that look the same, like the tanks and the filters and things, but I think it's going to be quite a bit different than that. Okay, that didn't take very long. It's done mapping and now it's auto docking. Ooh, it's got a light. It lifts its rear end up and it docks. That's different. They've got this new one called Stratus out too. It looks identical to their older one. I'm not sure what's going on there. So it does an auto empty event. That's the emptying the dustbin. So I have really fast internet here. So the app just lags. I don't know how else to say that. Like it's calculating creating the map. And so it says it's processing the map, and this can take a little bit. Your map will display here. All right, that's not too bad. All right, that's really good. I did close one door over. I will be testing this further. Today's the first look. So you can approve or re-explore. I'm curious if we'll have to do a carpet verification run. And this is typical with this app. It's slow. Edit the map. Yep, that's what we want to do. Okay, so rooms. I want to split Oh, you have to, yeah, okay, it's always a little tricky. You have to press and then do the split like that. It's a little tricky. Hit split and then put your finger down and then long press, or no, pick the room first, then do your, no, well, I want to make the room smaller. No, you can't make the map smaller. Huh. So there. You can merge rooms and then let's label. Let's hit this. Or no, continue. Let's select a room and then you can change the label. This is going to be the corner. Then hit the check mark. Again, it just lags a little bit. I wish it was a little faster. All right. Okay, this is the carpet verification run. Select the rooms that have carpet. So this room, and this room all have carpet. So now you have to start a detection run. It's going to go and clean those rooms. If you have a big house, it could be, see, it's going to vacuum these rooms and identify where the...
Positioning successful. Starting to clean.
Yeah, this has got some newer technology inside. There's... So we can see it in a live, you can see where it is. It does lag. This doesn't update. So this carpet verification run is going to take a while because it's going to clean this entire room, but it's like activated those carpet sensors and it's going to show where the carpet is on here, and then we can edit the map a little bit later. So yeah, I'll have to just stop the video for a little bit and then we'll come back to this. So okay, so I had to leave and come back because there was those rooms took a while because it has to clean the entire room to figure out where the carpet is. Now, typically there's a pop-up that shows, are you okay with this carpet, where the carpet was? And if not, you can tell it to redo a carpet verification run. I'm missing that pop-up since I kind of left for the night, I guess. I'm not really sure. But so let's go in, and now a way to verify this carpet. Now you can see it did identify where the carpet is. So hit rooms and you can see the carpet a little bit better. So I do have carpet here. I have a rug here. And this whole room is carpet, but it wasn't able to get to some places for the carpet sensor to activate. So if you're happy with where the carpet is, which mine did do a good job, then this map is complete now. You can always do, I think you have to do, click the three little lines up here, click on map, and you can always do re-explore if you have to, but let's go to edit the map. So here's my rooms now. Again, let's add no-go zones. I do know, so click on no-go zones. There's an area over here where I know it's going to struggle. There's just a bunch of computer cables, and you can add these at a later date. Now it doesn't look like you can add a no mop zone or anything like that. So now that'll show up as a red square, and the robot will completely avoid that when it's vacuuming or mopping. There's what it looks like. Again, we don't see the carpet on this section, but we do see the no-go zone. So click the three little lines again, right above, add a robot, click on the heat, or whatever you named your robot. That's if you want to go back to the robot's main page, but let's go to settings. Now you've got to go down, pick your, I've got several robots, but there's my robot. So let's go to the settings for the heat. Now register your robot, click on that. It fills in the information. You can rename your robot. There's the notifications, or I'm sorry, the volume of the robot. Now, something I've learned on previous ones is this do not disturb is off. I recommend turning that on, because in setting the times, so from 10 o'clock at night to 6 a.m. in the morning, it's on. Because the charge and resume is on by default. So if this thing doesn't, if the robot doesn't finish cleaning your house, it's going to go back, recharge, and once it's charged back up, it'll automatically undock and start cleaning again. That could be at 2 in the morning, so keep that in mind. That's why I recommend putting the do not disturb on. You can turn the recharge and resume off. That means once it runs out of battery, it just won't go back and finish the job. Cleaning preferences, it's going to save the power level, like whatever the last settings you use, it just applies those to future runs. Evacuate and resume is on, yeah. Eco flow mode, if you think your floors are getting too wet, you can turn this on and it pumps less water. It says this mode helps your robot pump less water during mopping. Turn this on if you want to refill the water tank less often, prefer less water on your sensitive floors, or notice your robot losing traction during mopping. That's off by default. This is interesting. So pad dry, they must be using hot air, because now we've got 1.5, 2, or 2.5. That's usually hot air, because if it's just using room temperature air, that usually takes about 8 hours. You can delete the robot, delete the maps, factory reset, and that's it. Very limited on what settings you actually have for the robot. Again, here we are back. Click the 3 little lines and click your robot. It's always going to give you a mission report. You know, it may cover up some of the map, but just click this little, you can view the report. Here's what it cleaned last night when I left. You can't look at a bunch of history on these, I don't think. Yeah, there's where it vacuumed. That doesn't show the cleaned area and runtime. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so here we are when we want to start cleaning. Again, there's my no-go zone. It shows up in a red X's. I can see my carpet. I can't pinch and zoom when I'm on home, but when I go to rooms, I can pinch and zoom. So when you click home, it's going to clean the entire home. Click the clean button and you can choose, what do you want to do? Do you want to do vacuum only, mop only? I think it vacuums also, but we'll check that out. Vacuum and mop. It'll first vacuum your carpets, then return to the dock. After attaching the mopping plate, heat will go and vacuum and mop. So yeah, the vacuum and mop is for your entire house. It means it'll vacuum your entire house. It'll take that mop pad off, vacuum your entire house, then go back, put the mop pad on, and mop your floors and vacuum. It can never just mop only. Like, it's always vacuuming and mopping, but when we're in mop, it will vacuum and mop the selected area, hardwood floors. So, and then you can do a room. You can pick the rooms. I think it'll clean them in the order you pick, but I'm not exactly sure. So then I can do clean, and I can do the same thing, a vacuum or mop. Even though it says mop, it will vacuum and mop. But vacuum means it'll detach the mop plate and vacuum only. And then we go to spot. Now you can't change the size of this spot. I wish you could. You can only move it around. And you can only do one spot. So if the kids make a mess over here, you can say, go clean this spot, hit clean. We can do vacuum or mop. That's actually mop and vacuum. Okay, let's do the corner testing clean. We're going to do mop. It's going to vacuum and mop, but we're going to select mop. And the first thing it's going to do, prepare.
Water tank is being filled.
So it's going to fill the water tank. Now this can take a little bit. It's not very loud. So the robot has an internal water tank that it's getting filled up with the clean water from the clean water tank. Okay, so the robot's going to fill its internal water tank up with water. Then it's going to come undock. Okay, let's see how well the Shark PowerDetect 2900 series cleans up this big mess. I've got a cable on the floor. It looks like it did avoid it. It's going to vacuum and mop this room at the same time. So the first thing it's going to do is it's going to travel to the room and it's getting that mop pad wet. So it's going to kind of go back and forth. It's got an internal water pump that's spraying water on top of the mop pad to get it wet. And there is an internal water tank that the base station filled up with water. Looks like it's got really good obstacle avoidance. That's really hard to avoid. It blows a puff of air in the corner to help clean the corner. And up against the wall, you can see it blowing that puff of air. Now it might have saw my foot right there. That's why it's going around. My foot was right there. So it saw it as an obstacle. So the first thing it's going to do, it's going to do the perimeter of the room first, then it's going to go back and forth and make the nice straight lines. And it's got that scrubbing action from the mop pad. It's moving the mop pad back and forth. Wow, did a good job. Now this mud's dried on. It's been dried on for a couple days. This was wet mud. Wow. There's a toy which can be really hard to avoid. Looks like it's doing a good job. Yeah, I wish it would have stayed a little farther away from it. So when it senses an obstacle, it can turn that side brush off, looks like.
Cleaning mission complete. Going back to the base.
So now it's going to travel back to the base station and it's going to wash that mop pad with hot water. That's why they call it the ThermaCharged. But we can see it did an excellent job here. There's a little bit left in the crevice, a little bit left of the dried on, The corners look relatively clean. Here it is traveling back to the docking station. It's got a clean water tank and a dirty water tank. We fill the clean water tank up with water and Shark Vac Mop solution. That's what it's going to use to wash that mop pad. There's a brush roller that's going to go back and forth. It's also going to auto empty the dustbin. So everything that it vacuumed up is going to go into a container that's bagless. And I can, after about a month, I can take that container out, take it to the trash can and empty it out. And now it's going to wash the mop.
Starting to wash my pad.
And this process takes usually about 2 to 3 minutes. You're going to hear that brush going back and forth. There's your clean water. There's your dirty water tank. You'll have to empty this out about once a month also, because it's going to wash that mop pad. It's going to heat the water, and then it's going to suck the water up into this dirty water tank, or they call it the gray water tank. Yeah, this had really good obstacle avoidance. That's a sensor on the front. It's not a camera, but it does a really good job of avoiding obstacles. And here's where that puff of air, it can blow a puff of air out. And these are the sensors when it's up against the wall that it knows to blow a puff of air. Okay, here goes. It's sucking the water up into the dirty water tank. Okay, so now it's filling the water tank up so that it's ready to go for the next time. Again, the robot has an internal water tank that's being filled up from the base station. Okay, so now it's drying the mop pad with hot air. You know, the fan's not very loud. You can hear it, but it's not very loud. That's going to keep that mop pad nice and dry. All right. There's the dirty water. Let's go empty out. I'm going to just empty it out to show you, but there's the dirty water tank. So here is all the mud that it got off the floor. Wow, it did a really good job. I am absolutely loving this Shark vacuum cleaner. They have done, I got a lot to say about it. Now, there's some shortcomings. I wish we could do like 2 passes. I do wish we had more settings adjustments, but they are really figuring out this robot. All right, let's do the vacuum test. I've got the kitchen where the carpet is. We're going to do a room, clean, vacuum only, start vacuuming. Okay, so the Shark PowerDetect ThermaCharged is going to remove its mop pad and leave it at the base station. It can remove that when you want to do a vacuum only event.
Officially successful.
So it's going to travel over to this room and start vacuuming it without its mop pad installed. So it's going to do the perimeter of the room first, then it's going to go back and forth and make the straight lines. Okay, it's done the perimeter of the room. Now it's going to go up, down to make the straight lines. Okay, so that was a little odd. it just did the perimeter of the room, and then it said the mission was complete. We will have to take a look at this. All right, let's view report. Yeah, see, not sure what happened there. Huh, it just did the perimeter of the room and went back. All right, let's try again. You know, I don't see, we can't adjust suction. I mean, I'm in an iPad Air, maybe on the phone app you can, but there's no way to adjust suction level. Okay, let's try it again. I checked on my iPhone. There's no way to select. This is just, you can select the room. This is like a room selector. Huh. I wish you could, I guess it just has one suction level. That's fine. Okay, room, clean, vacuum only, start vacuuming.
Positioning.
Okay, so it's doing the perimeter of the room again. I didn't film the whole thing, but it did the exact same track. That did a little crook there just because my map room edit wasn't perfectly square. And then this is where it kind of decided to go back. Or no, it went up and back a few times, yeah. I hope that was just a one-time thing. I'm really loving this robot vacuum cleaner. Now, it doesn't turn the side brush when it's going up and back and forth. I think it only turns the side brush on when it's up against the edge of the room. I think we're going to be okay this time. Now this does have a headlight on the front, and it also has lights that shoot down whenever there's a dirt detection event. I think it might be seeing that hair as an obstacle. Or maybe it just divided the room in half. I'm not sure. Okay, so here's how it's cleaning. I'll turn the lights on and off accordingly, but there's that long hair. It didn't get, looks like the pattern was a little off over here. Maybe because it doesn't think the room is square or something. Okay, I'm trying to, when we get a dirt detection event, this has lights on the bottom that are going to cleaning pattern's a little off. I would like to see it a little bit tighter. Now I was hoping for a dirt detection event where it would kind of do where it would vacuum up that coffee and then do like a figure 8, but I haven't seen that yet. After it's done with this, it's going to go back and auto empty the dustbin.
Cleaning mission complete. Going back to the base.
Well, that was disappointing. Just when you get your hopes up, like, that was just disappointing. I don't know how else to say it. I don't know. It was doing a lot of turns. I didn't get a dirt detection event, which I should have. That ground coffee being really fine, I would have thought I would have gotten it. And we'll check the auto empty system here after it's done. All right. There's those lights I was wanting to show you. When we have a dirt detection event, those turn purple. Where typically those were up here. I was wanting to show you that. I thought that was going to be really cool, but we never got to see it. You know, auto empty is not too bad. Long hair. We do have some long hair wrap. Quite a bit, actually. There's that dirt detection sensor again. There, it shoots a lot. I've seen that work on previous dirt detect robots. This one, I mean, I'm sure it's. I mean, I assume it's working, but it just we didn't have enough dirt, I guess, to do a dirt detection event. Yeah, there's those lights. I think that's a great idea. You know, you're going to be able to see the robot a little bit better if it has an issue. I like that. These need to be physical buttons. It's like a touch screen, which I prefer physical buttons. I prefer like a very obvious, because typically you're in a hurry when you want to deal with these. I want to be like a big home button. I want a big pause button. I want a big play button. You know, and these, all the different combinations mean something. So a little disappointing there. Is that home? So the middle one's home. So if all else fails, start, stop. I don't know if it's start, but I don't think it is start, but it's at least pause and home. Yeah, this cleaning pattern, I got to keep an eye on this. This was just off. And also, like, it should need to be a little bit tighter. And we need to be able to do 2 passes, like 1 pass, like their matrix clean. Where is that? That was something they were very proud of, and a matrix clean on this carpet would have been excellent, I think. It would have done a really good job. All right, let's take a look at the mission report. Oh, that was me undocking it and then telling it to dock. That became a mission. So I lost, and you don't have access to history. So yeah, that was just a return. So now I don't have any history. So yeah, a little disappointing that this isn't updated with matrix clean, multiple, like I want to be able to clean the kitchen like 2 passes. I'm okay with not picking suction level. I mean, it would be nice to do wetness level. You can turn the wetness down in the settings. I would like the spot to be bigger. Like that's the biggest it can be. I'm sure it does a matrix clean then. So I'm like a little kid. I want to see these lights come on. So I put a bunch of coffee. Let's do a spot clean, clean, vacuum, start cleaning. Okay, let's have some fun. I'll turn the lights on and off. I mean, they've added a light. They've added really good obstacle avoidance to it. I need to check it with some more fake poop and different things, but that obstacle avoidance was actually really good. I need to do more testing on that. That was a very surprising result from Shark. And that whole sensor on the front is, that's different. I've never seen that before, so. Now again, this is the first look. This was the first cleaning. Maybe this pattern will get better as it cleans. You would think in this spot clean, it's picking the square, so the square should be, the pattern should be good. Yeah, the pattern does seem to be tighter when it's doing a spot clean. Hey, we got our dirt detection event. Okay, so those are the purple lights that it turns on. That is super cool. And it's going to do like a figure 8 where it detected that dirt. Okay, the dirt detection event is over. It goes back to normal cleaning. Okay, now let's just closely examine how well it did clean. So it looks like we are going to get matrix clean with a spot clean. So it looks like it's going to do the perimeter of the room for, or again, on the, it's going to do 2 passes on this spot. Kind of left a little bit right there. Yeah, it does kind of veer off. I mean, I think this is pretty standard carpet. I mean, it almost feels like it's thick and it's causing the drive wheels to veer off a little bit. Maybe not. Maybe it's just, it's a driving, but it's definitely leaving a little bit at the end. Yeah, you can just see the lines in the ground there. There. It's angled. I mean, you would expect that navigation to be a little bit more spot on and just be straight.
Cleaning mission complete. Going back to the base.
So yeah, it left a little bit, but the matrix clean did help quite a bit cleaning. And again, you can see it on the app. It lags a little bit. I wish it showed the lines where it went, but that's okay. I think it dries the mop pad even when it's detached. I think that fan is still going, so that's kind of a neat option. In the mission report, you get a circle. Typically that circle is the dirt detection event. Yeah, typically there's something that shows you, there's like a, the circle is dirt detect. The never stuck, I'm going to show you that here in a second. So that's where that circle was. All right, I'm just going to do another quick test. I'm going to have it mop this floor, but there's going to be a carpet in the way. I'm going to show you how it can lift its rear end. When it senses, if the mop pad is installed and it needs to go across carpet to get to where it needs to mop, it can lift its rear end. It's kind of weird, but it works. There. So that's how it lifts its mop pad. And interestingly enough, it says it lifts it twice as high as the X40. That's kind of interesting. The X40 is 10 millimeters, so that must be 40 millimeters or 20 millimeters. Okay, let's put it through a torture test with fake dog poop and a cable that's a little strung out. Sometimes when they're coiled up, it's a little easier, but let's really put it through the test. Ooh, I think it's going to avoid that cable. They're onto something with this optical avoidance sensor. And that was even coming out of a corner, which can be really hard for robots to get that optical avoidance sensor pointed in the right direction to avoid stuff. They've also, the mop pad is quieter. And it's got 2 ports for filling. The old one like this has one port, which takes forever to fill the tank. This one still took a while, but at least with 2 ports, it is going to be faster. All right, it's going to avoid that poop, and it turns the side brush off. It didn't go all the way into the corner. It's interesting how it doesn't have to point the front sensor at it. Like it can be off, you know, it's not pointing this. A lot of robots have to like turn around and point the sensor at it the entire time, but boy, Shark is on to something. They just need to add a few more things. Whew. That's big time. So this robot, in my opinion, is going to be for people that just want to not do a lot of deep dive into settings. They're not, you know, they don't care about putting rooms on 2 passes. They don't care about wetness levels. You know, it's got 1 suction level, 2 wetness levels, but you got to go into the settings to change that one. It's not super easy. And it's for the entire home. Is it going to avoid stuff? Is it going to make it back to the dock? Is it, you know, it is. I've had this, the previous one, and it typically makes it back to the dock every time. Is it doing the best job cleaning? Probably not the best job. Man, if they added a dirt detection sensor to the dock to where that if it senses the water was dirtier than normal and it went back and remopped an area, I mean, they are so close. So close. They've got to get the carpet cleaning pattern down a little bit better, I think. The Shark app, it could just use a little bit refinement. I know sometimes having too many settings can be a problem, and that I can definitely see that with some of the robots that I review. They have too many settings, and some of the settings don't make sense, like Ecovacs and Narwhal. Their app is just it's pretty complicated in my opinion. But the Roborock and Dreamy and Mova seem to be a little bit, they have a lot of settings, but they seem to be more intuitive. So it's gonna, I didn't know if it was gonna go back that way or not, but. You know, it does mop on its way back. I don't know if it's putting water down or not, but it is mopping. And it's finding the dock better than the previous generation. Yeah, and cleaning the base station, you know, there's not a tray you remove. It's, you got to kind of do it down on your hands and knees down there, which can be a little tricky. So right now on the Shark website, $800. That's an okay price. I mean, box, I always love their box art. It's really cool. We did see a dirt detection. Edge detect, it blows that puff of air. We saw that. Floor detect. Now, this one I didn't see. It says it can adjust suction. I guess it does. Maybe I just wasn't looking for it. Wet edge detect, it can move the mop pad into the corner or up against the wall. Yep. Sonic mopping, yeah, it does scrub. Automatic mop pickup, yeah, it can drop the mop off. Self empties, it does use hot water, 185 degrees, and dried, okay, there. It dries with 175 degrees. And there's where it talks about this lift now. It does do a good job with rod-shaped furniture, like U-shaped furniture. I have seen it. It'll kind of lift itself up over those. It says it can run for up to 3 hours. 6 detections: dirt detect, floor detect, edge, wet edge. That's kind of the same thing. Well, I guess maybe not. But sonic mopping and automatic pickup. Dry guard, well, because it can leave its mop pad back at the base station. That's what it gets, that 100% dry guard. It does come with a 2-year warranty. I did see that in the thing. Odor neutralizing technology. Yeah, I mean, they're definitely onto something. It's got an LED. They don't advertise it has an LED light, but it does. It does have HEPA filtration with the base station. The base captures 99. It doesn't say the robot has HEPA filtration. Now this is this is going to get really confusing. Their older one I've reviewed. It looks identical, to be honest, other than this obstacle avoidance sensor. The Lidar is kind of like a square shape. So that one is okay. This one's definitely better. You know, it's 800. What, one color's more expensive than the other? That's 649. I mean, I have seen this as low as 600. I'd like to see this one, the older one, I'd like to see under 500. Now this one is their super old one. It's down to $400. It doesn't wash the mop pad, so I'm not really recommending that one. And whatever you do, don't get these 2-in-1s. This is their old robots that they just put a mop on an old robot. That the robots did okay, but the mop pads, just, it's a lot of complication from it. The carpet verification run is harder. You got to actually physically watch it to see where it goes, to make sure the carpet is where it is. So that's a completely different animal, the Shark 2-in-1s, and they sell about 30 different varieties of that. So these are good. I do want to see one more. So I want to see one more thing. What kind of schedule could we put it on?
My water tank is being filled.
We can do vacuum only, and we can pick the rooms and the days. We can do vacuum. So this is good. We can do vacuum and mop. We can pick is only for the whole home. Okay, so that's important. You could do a mop, which is, even though it says mop, it does vacuum and mop at the same time. It just doesn't do it in 2 separate events. So you can pick the days and the time. Okay, so this is good. You're gonna want to put this on a schedule. Have it I would have it vacuum and mop my house 1 day a week. Then I would have it mop my kitchen, your hardwood floors once a week. That's the minimum I would do. When you first get it, I'd probably have it vacuum and mop my entire house twice a week or 3 times a week. I mean, you can do as much as you want here. This is super nice, this schedule. This is the number one thing I tell people to do. Put your robot on a schedule, because if it's bothered, like say it's on a schedule, which happens to me all the time, and I'm on my computer on a phone, and then all of a sudden, oh, the schedule starts and now it's in the room and it's bothering me. Just tell it to stop, go home. It'll pick up the next time, But it's easier to do that than to keep remembering, oh, I need to tell it to go clean my house. That's a really hard thing to do, but it's just easier if it's bothering you, just tell it to go home. So this is going to get a Just a Dad sticker seal of approval. It's going to go on my website, I'm pretty sure, justadadapproved.com. No robot is perfect, okay? This has some shortcomings. They all have shortcomings. Can I live with this one? I think I actually can. Good obstacle avoidance, simplicity, putting it on a schedule, since it doesn't do 2 passes in a room, as we can see, like this room needed 2 cleanings. So maybe have it clean this room once in the morning and once in the afternoon. That way you could get 2 passes on it. It's a little way of defeating the shortcomings, but I like it. I do. There's just something about it you can kind of tell. And it's always the ones I wasn't looking forward to this one, to be honest with you. I thought, what could be different? I actually thought they had the same old unit and they just put a heater in it. That is not the case. Now, what I'm learning about Shark, they love to reuse plastic. Like, this has a lot of parts that are obviously from the older one. You know, here I have the older one. It's really, really close to being identical, other than the Lidar and the sensor on the front and stuff. And I'll see this with Sharks. I do a lot of their cordless vacuums and their upright vacuums. They like to they'll make a new one, like a new cordless vacuum cleaner, but they'll reuse some plastic from the old one. So while it may look the same, the internals are usually different. And that's the case here. There's a lot different. They've made it quieter. It's noticeably quieter. The base station's quieter. Everything about it is quieter. Now the app, I think they took away some features. I'm not sure, maybe, but I would like to see, again, add suction levels, add different wetness levels, and 2 passes. But again, no robot is perfect. So you're going to get the Shark name brand 2-year warranty. I think they have pretty good customer support. I've used them a couple times. They do try real hard. They have a technology where they can turn your phone on and use your camera, and you can do like a FaceTime with them. And so they can walk you through some different things. I've done that on a couple things. Now, this last time I reached out to them, it took them almost 5 or 6 days to get back to me. Oh, it was on their new fire pit outside. I was missing a part, I ordered a part and it didn't come in. And it took them a while, like 5 or 6 days, to finally email me back. I did it through email. So today I'm going to be getting the Mova Mobius 60 out and the Matrix 10. So look for these videos coming really soon. And with all the holiday shopping events, we just got done with Prime Big Deal Days. I do videos for these sales. I go and I have all these robots and I research them. You know, let's say that Shark was on sale for $700. Well, it's going to go up against the Mova P50. And I do think there is a place for this Shark. The Mova P50 might be a little bit better robot, but complexity might be a little bit more with the P50, where the Shark maybe is not as complex. You know, it doesn't have as many features as the P50, but sometimes that's okay. So look for me on these big shot, like Black Friday's coming up. That's going to be like a 2-week event. I'm going to do all the research and get you all those sales, because my job is to get you the best robot at the best price. So I really do appreciate everybody's support. Again, check out my website. That's when these big events are happening. So you may not have time to watch the video. I am going to do a video of like the best robot vacuum cleaners for Black Friday day 1 and day 2. But if you don't have time, I update my website, justadadapproved.com, with all the products that I approve of. I'm reviewing wet floor mops, cordless vacuum cleaners, and Shark's really at the top of the cordless vacuum cleaners and the corded vacuum cleaners. They really have that market down. They really know what they're doing. They're starting to figure out this robot vacuum cleaner. Just a couple tweaks, I think we could be right there. So again, that's a completely new robot. They're not really promoting it a lot yet. I do appreciate everybody's support. JustADadApproved.com. And thanks everybody for watching.